Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to Arizona Barrio Stories. I'm Irma, and I want to thank you for being a part of our familia. This familia every day is getting bigger and bigger. We hope by the end of the year that we have just gone off the charts in numbers, and we're on our way. Thank you, thank you. Today, we're back with Salud, Dinero y Amor with David Paraluna, and he always has some good tidbits for us. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Irma. It's always great when we come together to have these conversations on very important topics. Today it's Medicare.
Can you believe we are almost at the end of 2023? Can you believe it? We've covered so many things this year. What do we have today?
I agree with you. We did 12 shows on finances. Well, it's the time of the year, Irma, when October comes around and people start receiving lots of correspondence, lots of mail, because it's open enrollment for Medicare, and this potentially could create some confusion to some folks because they're just getting so much information, they don't know what's about. And it's very easy for people to think that they have to take this plan or that plan. So we would like to clarify some things today by talking about a couple of major points. We're going to be talking about open enrollment, and then we're going to do a little introduction to Medicare.
I know my mailbox is being flooded right now, and I know we have a lot of viewers out there that might be at that ripe age. Maybe this will be their first time, and they don't know who to turn to or what to do. And other people may just be thinking about changing. But I know our mailboxes right now are being flooded with material.
Well, first, what I would like to say is that this is not the initial enrollment. In other words, this is not for people to enroll in Medicare for the first time, unless it happens to fall, their initial enrollment period happens to start in the month of October or November. But other than that, this is for people who are already on Medicare. Before we go into, let me just say that open enrollment is from October 15 to December 7. And this is the time to review coverage. Now, let me say from the get-go that if people don't do anything, nothing is going to happen. Whatever coverage they have currently, that's what's going to happen. That's what they're going to have, continue to have, starting in January. So they don't have to do anything, but it's wise to review what they have and see if perhaps there's some plan better in terms of coverage or even cheaper. Why not?
Very good.
Yeah, another thing that is important to understand is two things. One is positive, one is negative. Social Security will not be increasing the benefit as they did last year. Remember 8.7, the famous COLA, cost of living adjustment. This year it would only be 3.2% across the board. Everybody who has Social Security benefits, it doesn't matter which one it is, they will get an increase of 3.2%. So just so people get an idea, a benefit of $1,000, then they're going to be getting $1,032. Last year, if somebody was getting $1,000, they were getting $1,087. So an $87 increase. This will only be a $32 increase if somebody gets $1,000. So we're just using this as an example, but it'll vary depending on somebody getting more or less. This is the good news. The bad news is the Part B is also increasing. And last year it was $164.90. Or actually this year, next year it'll be $10 more, $174.70. Let's keep in mind that people with higher incomes, I don't know if you know this, but people with higher incomes, they pay more. They pay a higher premium. And the also the deductible for original Medicare is going to go up a little bit. So I still believe that with this increase from COLA, they'll be either even, or they'll keep a few dollars more in their bank accounts because they are getting an increase on Social Security.
Well, those are all good points that, somebody might want to think, especially if they're on limited income.
Of course. Yeah. Another thing is, let's kind of talk about Medicare, right? So who is Medicare for? It's people who are 65 or older, or people who could be younger than 65, but they were declared disabled and they have been receiving SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, for 2 years. Once somebody fills that definition, so to speak, then they're eligible for Medicare. Keep in mind that they need to have worked at least 10 years, and which through those 10 years they accrued 40 quarters or credits, or be the spouse of somebody who has those credits. They can also be eligible. And also there's another group that is eligible for Medicare, and that's at any age if they have end-stage renal failure, needing dialysis. Those folks can get Medicare right away. It doesn't matter the age. How does it sound so far?
So far, I think these are really good points. I'm hoping people out there jot this down because you may be in a situation where you need to know this.
Right. So if you would like, we can move on now to the famous parts of Medicare. I've been teaching or sharing information about Medicare for, 15 plus years. And this confuses people, the parts. They don't know which part covers what, and if you go with original Medicare or Medicare Advantage, do I get the same parts or not? So let us start reviewing the parts of Medicare. For some reason, Medicare, well, it's money. It has to do with money and budgeting, right? So the government or CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they divide the coverage or label the type of coverage with letters. So Part A covers hospitalizations. And I want to say hospitalizations because you have to be admitted. If you're just in observation, Part A does not kick in.
So if you go through emergency,
yes,
and they don't admit you?
That's still under Part B.
Okay.
So it is covered, but under Part B. So Part A is just so when the doctor gives an order for you to stay in the hospital, to become inpatient basically. So let's remember that. And we pay the FICA tax 1.45%. Remember when you say that we pay for Medicare, keep in mind that we're only paying for Part A. This is important because when they enroll in Medicare for Part B, guess what? They're going to have to pay for Part B. So they do not pay, people who have worked 10 years or more, they do not pay a premium for Part A because we've been paying for that. Again, 1.45% of our salaries goes towards Medicare and then matched by the employer. That's already, so basically we're already paying for Part A, but that only covers hospitalizations. Part B is medical coverage and also medical equipment. They call it durable medical equipment because it's of good quality. That's under Part B. And that is something that we have to buy. We have to buy Part B. It's not free. It's not free, the out-of-pockets, neither the premium. There is a premium for Part B, and there is no premium for Part A, provided that you have paid for it for 10 years, basically. How does that sound so far?
Well, like I said, I hope people are jotting this down because they might be mixed up on what's covered and what's not covered.
Right. So now, Part A and Part B, that's what was passed originally. 1965, Medicare becomes law. 1935, Social Security. So it took, 60 years?
Yeah.
No, 30 years. 30 years from Social Security for the government to pass Medicare. That's a long time, right? 30 years. And then in the early 2000s with President George Bush, the son, then Part D came up. They passed that law to add prescription drug coverage. So you think about this. Before 2005, there was no help for medications. So people got them somehow. But then after that, they felt that Medicare should also include Part D for drugs. So I don't know if you paid attention, but check this out. I already cover A, I already cover B, and I jumped to D. So what happened to C? We'll cover that in just a bit or in the next show, so stay tuned. So, Part D is prescription drugs. These are prescription drugs, and this one you also have to buy it. You also have to pay a premium, except that if you get Medicare Advantage, it comes with it. But we'll get that on the next show when we consider the difference between original Medicare and Medicare Advantage. But these are the parts of Medicare. I think it's important. So again, Part A, hospitalizations. Part B, doctors and durable medical equipment, and we pay for Part B, not for Part A premium. If we have those 10 we've worked 10 years, accrued those 40 credits. And then Part D, prescription drugs. And this Part B had a famous donut hole. Do you remember that?
No, tell us about it.
A donut hole, you picture a donut and it has a hole, right? So there was, Part D used to have like stages, a first stage, a second stage. So the first was the initial, and then the donut hole stage, and then the catastrophic. Well, in the donut hole stage, there was no coverage. So people, if they fell into that by spending the money, then they would have to pay for everything. But the good news, the donut hole is gone. It is gone. And even when people fall into the catastrophic stage in 2024, they will pay $0 if they fall into that. That means they would have spent a lot of money. There you have it. Parts A, B, and D. We skipped C, but we'll cover that in the next show.
Well, other people probably have their mailbox flooded also during open enrollment. I'm sure they're questioning things. Thank you for giving us your tidbit today.
Of course.
And we're going to be looking forward to Part C.
Definitely.
Thank you, David.
My
We're going to see you very soon.
Of course.
All right, folks, you heard it. Paper, pencil. This program is just for you. You might be at that Medicare age and you have these questions. You're going to see a phone number on the bottom. He is always available to answer your questions. Thank you for viewing, and we hope to see you soon.